John CROOK getting yelled at by the judge in Ohio. What else would you expect? Oh, self-incrimination? That happened too. It was a wild day in court, George.
It really was. And both CROOK and LIEnette have perjured themselves.
Big time.
So their stories are inconsistent. They blatantly lied to the judge, specifically on things that they have been found guilty of in the past.
This is our second full day scheduled in Ohio court for 4 cases. 2 contempt cases, one against LIEnette, one against CROOK, and 2 cases of an extension of civil protection orders for 5 years with no firearms, one against LIEnette and one against CROOK. So 4 cases. We're scheduled for court all day. But their attorney says if I'm not at Skyline Chili by noon, I'm not going to be happy. And we're thrilled we're going to be out of court and not be there all day.
Yeah, he did crack a joke about that, which I thought was funny.
There was insanity. The first witness called Deuce, he self-incriminates himself, literally tells on himself that he ambulance chased. He went after LIEnette and CROOK. That's illegal!
Via YouTube.
Wrote a motion for them when he wasn't even their lawyer. That's illegal practice in Florida.
Ghostwriting.
Then you've got Tina Haley, who sold us the property illegally, whose husband came on, trespassed, destroyed property. They were caught illegally hunting on our property. They tried to get felony charges, get me arrested by lying, saying that I stole something from my own property. And then, to top it off, we have CROOK, the 4th witness of the day. LIEnette being the last.
No, he's the 3rd.
Oh, 3rd.
LIEnette would be the last, the 4th.
Well, you know, I was kind of...
Mathin' for you sometimes.
Well, George, I was talking about Tina's alternate personalities, you know, because she's such a good neighbor.
Like a good neighbor.
She's a good neighbor. They never instigate. They never do anything.
Cactus farms are there.
Yeah, okay. So CROOK is actually called up to the stand. Now, previously, CROOK is under some kind of canopy, tent, something outside in Otter Creek. Looks so disheveled, looks so nasty. Pathetic.
He did remember to take his hat off, because before he would show up with his hat on backwards, which is so disrespectful to the courts. But he did remember to do that. Maybe because I made a comment and someone told him to take it off.
Potentially. So CROOK is called to the witness stand. And originally, when we first went to Ohio court, Eli, our lawyers, his plan was put LIEnette up there first, set the stage, and then let everybody lie underneath her after she's already set the stage. Because when she gets put on the stand, she just spills everything. And then you take everybody else's testimony against what she just... And she'll throw every single one of them under the bus, including Deuce, FLEASA, CROOK, which she did, but she was last, CROOK before her. So what are your insights on CROOK being called up there? What happened, George?
Let's see. I did think that he was sitting... I did notice that he was sitting outside. At first, I thought he was sitting under the crumbling outside structure. The one where the winds took part of the structure. Yeah,
there's a lot of structure not there anymore from the strong winds, correct. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of unsafe structures, and if their child is a runner, maybe they should consider fixing it or taking it down, because that's not safe for a child.
LIEnette's the one that publicly stated her child is a runner, which I'm going to get ahead of myself. She also stated, I just want my child to be able to play in the road again.
Well, you're jumping ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
She has this sick and twisted obsession with allowing her child to play in the middle of the road. The same road that you drive on the wrong side of, the one lane road.
Which John CROOK, under oath, says, it's 25 miles per hour, and he slows down, and we don't know why. As they literally have child at play. Slow down.
2 signs.
They have complained publicly with Levy County Sheriff stating that I drive so fast. So I now slow down. My idle speed is too fast. I have a diesel engine. My diesel engine will be up at 25 miles at idle speed. It'll just... Zzz. I have to hit the brakes to slow down.
Correct.
They're not happy if I drive fast. They're not happy if I drive slow. Maybe they'd be happy if they just leave.
Really, really. There are 2 signs that say slow down child at play. You guys are familiar with those signs. They're like the yellow signs that say slow
They
down.
even have a yellow child out there holding a flag.
Yeah, next
Slow
to the
down.
blessing box.
Okay, but I got ahead of myself.
Well, let's
again.
complain.
Yep.
Let's complain about
Jeremy
that.
drives too slow, drives too fast, You know what? Maybe I should walk. Maybe walking, maybe driving is the issue. Maybe walking would be better.
Well, we did learn that having oversized tires on our vehicle make the vehicle run faster than what it really says on the speedometer.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Because remember, I got pulled over, and I told the sheriff, I was like, "How can I be speeding? I had it on cruise control the whole time." He's like, "Is this a new truck?" And I said, "Yes." And he's like, and then he took my information, came back. He's like, I get it. I think it's the oversized tires.
Which we do. We have oversized aggressive tires.
And so we have to slow down because even though the speedometer says we're doing 25, technically we're doing like 35, 40. Not realizing that we're going that fast because the speedometer is incorrect because of the oversized tires.
That definitely
So that's
happens.
something that we've kept in mind ever since then, that we have to slow down, considering that the speed limit is 25, and they have multiple signs saying the speed to slow down.
And their dogs are constantly getting out of that trash fence and coming to try and get saved on our property as well. So
Yeah.
you got
Their
that
dogs,
going on.
you do see their dogs like scooching their butts on the concrete. Like that's
worms.
that's
worms.
a sign.
Yeah, they have
Maybe
worms.
they should take their animals to the vet or get that taken care of.
Pretty sure Crook has been seen doing the exact same thing, George.
Just an observation. Just
Throwing
an
it out there.
observation.
Just throwing it out there. Okay.
So Justin, at this time, Crook is under oath, and Justin, their
record.
attorney, stands up and starts asking direct questions, direct exam.
Examination. So this is what's legally termed the examination.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Eli, our lawyer, comes up, that's cross-examination.
Mm-hmm. So he tells him the same thing. If I ask a bad question or a poor question and you don't understand it, don't speculate. Just ask me to reword the question. I'll gladly reword it the best as I can. Yes, sir. So he asks him basic questions like, what is your name? State your name on the record and spell your last name.
How old are you?
How old are you?
He goes,
There's like a delayed response, and he had no clue how old he was. It was very awkward. He let out an awkward, delayed response. Finally answers.
61. He goes, I had to
I
think.
had to think.
Thinking is hard. Me no think very good.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was embarrassed for him. It was pretty bad. So then he asks, where do you live? And he spouts out his entire address.
Where do you live?
He gives him the address.
By the way, when we do this, where do you live? We're making fun of a small YouTuber in Pennsylvania that very creepily would do that to females that he would invite on his channel. And it was very creepy when we filmed with George. He couldn't stop staring at different body parts, and we want nothing to do with him. He is a creep. So we are making fun of another YouTuber who is a creep, complete and total creep.
So then he goes on to ask, how long have you lived there? And he says about 4.5 years.
Wait,
But Tina said we lived there for 5 years.
so we've been there for 5 years.
Pretty sure 5 years is longer than
we were
4.5.
We were there first?
Yes.
They followed us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I'm getting this.
Instead of buying the property at tax sale for way cheaper, like $3,000,
I think it sold at $2,000 at one point. Yeah.
she spent over $22,000 because a famous YouTuber lived there.
Now, to be clear, she went, and again, I'm getting ahead of myself. She went into this whole tax. It was a tax. I've been watching it from 2008. You can't find tax lien or tax sales anywhere on the internet. You have to
Especially
go to
not
a
Levy.
county building in Levy County. She did not do that. It's 100% false. It is a lie. She knew nothing about it whatsoever. There was no way she could know about it. She wasn't going to each county all over Florida and going, let me see your tax sales. I've been watching this. It is nothing but a lie. There's no way she could access any of that information online, anywhere else, unless she went in person to the tax collector's office.
Correct.
End of story.
Yes. And then he goes on to ask him, how many acres do you own? And he says 1.66. Why not just say 1.5, roughly 1.5? He had to be specific. 1.66, maybe because that's ingrained in his head.
Well, they are losing 1.66, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So then he asks, what do you do for a living? And then he says, I'm disabled.
Get this.
So
how long have you been disabled? Since 1982.
That's my year. That's my birth year, 82, and I'm 43 years old.
He also goes on to say that he has spinal fusion. That's why he's disabled since 1982. Now, he's going to be questioned on flicking me off by a ladder. And his answer is going to be he just got off the ladder. I'm curious, how many disabled individuals with spinal fusion do you know who climb up and down ladders?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ahead of myself again.
So he did specifically say that he's unable to work, but wait, he contradicts himself by doing manual labor. Taking care of tortoises is manual labor. Building their pens is manual labor. But he's unable to work.
Can't work. Fused spine.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, LIEnette has claimed that she has a fused spine as well. Is that?
Well, the term that she uses is herniated disc.
Oh, okay.
And that she has no spine.
Yes.
None of her discs exist anymore. She has no discs. So, from my understanding, and I'm no back doctor or spinal specialist or what is the back doctor called? I'm not a specialist but if you have zero disc, wouldn't you just be a blob in a wheelchair?
Proctologist?
No.
Back doctor. Backside. No.
Like a spinal specialist, wouldn't you be in a wheelchair? I don't know.
Here's what I do know. And you're well aware. I have issues with ruptured disc. And I work non-stop. Literally manual labor, lifting, moving. I am a glorified garbage man, is what I am. Now, we call it treasure hunting, but I move stuff constantly. Heavy stuff I shouldn't. And I have ruptured disc, herniated disc, which in time heal themselves. Now, I don't give it enough time to heal itself, but that has never stopped me from living the dream and working my dream. I understand most people say living the dream. I work my dream. My dream is to be fun employed, doing what I want every day, treasure hunting, finding gold. Oh my goodness. Look what I brought from Florida, George. I brought the last set of gold bars that we found.
Now we have found...
I love it.
We have found all kinds of treasure, whether it's silver coins, gold coins, silver bullion, but this is our first time finding gold bars
in a unit, in a storage
unit. So it's been awesome. We've been blessed. And so we work our butts off. Doing storage units is backbreaking work. Having to load, unload, sort, bend, lift. It's a lot of work, and we make it look easy, but we work our tails off for what we have. We don't try and cheat the system and live off of the government.
Correct.
And so there are
pay the government.
Yes.
The highest tax. We are in the highest tax bracket. I don't mind sharing with you. For every dollar I make, 55 cents of every dollar I make goes to pay government something somehow, whether it be property taxes, whether it be income taxes, you name every single tax, and 55 cents of every single dollar I make goes towards a tax. I am in the highest bracket there possibly is.
Now, based on what we've seen and what type of physical labor LIEnette and Crook have, I don't believe that they're disabled, and I feel like they're cheating the system.
Very much so.
And that's just my opinion based on what we've seen on camera, police footage, the things that they post online for their rescue, and all this other stuff. And so how do you lift a 50-pound tortoise with being on disability?
I don't know, maybe...
50-year-old tortoise. He's been 50 years old for like 10 years. And he weighs like 200 plus by yourself. Two disabled people transporting tortoises.
Carrot in front of it and hope it moves.
Tortoises are heavy and they're disabled. And then it makes you wonder, like, two disabled people that survive on disability income, adopt a child at birth?
Makes no sense why any judge would have ever allowed this.
Anyways, so then Justin asks John, he's like, so you survive on disability income? And he responds, yes. And then he goes on to say, now you're aware of this CPO that's petitioned by Jeremy Hales today, correct? And he goes, yes. And he goes, and you understand that we're here for a renewal of an existing protective order and violations of the protective order. He says, yes. But I have a feeling that Justin didn't know that there was one already existing and that they've been found guilty. He knows now.
Yeah, he's learning by the seat of his pants.
Yeah.
And Eli is on fire with these witnesses. And all of a sudden, Justin's learning all this information he was never told. And you can see it in his face. Just like, oh my goodness, these
So
idiots.
as he's asking Crook this, he's probably thinking like, why didn't you tell me this in the first place? That you knew that we were here for a renewal and violations. And here he thought it was a brand new petition filed. So then he goes on to ask, since the civil stalking protective order has been in place, have you sought out Jeremy Hales?
No. Like a Neanderthal. No. Huh. Well, he's had a lot of stuff to say about that online, but we'll get to that. And then Justin asks, have you threatened Jeremy Hales? No. Have you touched Jeremy Hales? No. Now, he hasn't touched me, but he sure has talked a lot about putting stuff up my backside in my honey buns.
Well, not to mention, he's also said
Definitely.
that he wanted to take a pew-pew to your face and feed you to the alligators.
Yeah. So he's made a lot of posts about touching certain body parts of mine.
And wanting to what to do with your body.
Yeah.
Feed you to the alligators.
That's probably going to come up in cross-examination. Okay.
So then he goes on to say, have you ever touched him to confirm what you said? He goes, no. And then he says, have you ever requested others to harm him? And he says, no.
No. No. I got to think about that.
He does sound like that. He kind of sounds
dumb. Because he is.
Dumb, da-dum, dumb. So then Justin goes on to ask him, have you ever reached out to any online
personalities
to threaten or harm Jeremy?
No. And you're going to use code names. So the next question is, have you ever asked Deuce to harm him? No. Okay, well, when you see Jeremy Hales, what do? I go the other way. But I've seen him only 2 times in the past 2 years. Okay, hold a second.
So that kind of contradicts
Hold a second.
their whole strategy.
FLEASA is publicly stating, Deuce is publicly stating, Crook, LIEnette are publicly stating that we have used these civil protection orders to weaponize against them. And Crook, under oath, on the record says, I have only seen Jeremy Hales 2 times in the past 2 years. That's weaponization? In a small county, in a town where they live literally across the street from us, intentionally, on purpose. How in the world are they going to move forward with this contrived story, this fodder story of us weaponizing civil protection orders when Crook under oath says, I've only seen Jeremy Hales in the past 2 years. And he says, I saw him in Walmart and he scared everybody, every customer, he scared them. I made my presence known and that he was to leave immediately. What I said is, I have a civil protection order against you. Leave immediately. Now, leave, which is legally what he has to do. He did not. He continued on paying the cashier, which that is illegal. And he brought it up. We didn't even bring up the Walmart incident. We didn't even bring it up. There's hundreds of violations. We didn't even bring it up. He did. And then he goes, and I saw him at Ace Hardware, and he was filming me, and he said I showed him my gun. Well, that's legal. I can show him my gun.
Remember, him and LIEnette have been wearing their pew-pews on an outside holster. And why would they need to do that?
It's legal. I get it. It's legal. Open carry in Ohio, where we're at right now, it's legal. It's legal in Florida. You know what? One of the most foolish things you could do is open carry, because if there is a threat, that threat is going to go after the person who has a weapon shown on display first. You would never want to show what's coming. You want surprise. You want that to your advantage in any types of these situations. So concealed, which you don't need a license for in either state anymore, concealed is the way to go. Now, I get that it's legal. The intent is for nothing more than intimidation by both of them.
Correct. Especially if they have this young child who is a runner. Who's to say she's not going to run straight up to their pew-pews and try and take it because she's curious, right? To me, I think that's one of the most unsafe things to do with a child running around. But remember, they moved to Otter Creek to save the child and protect her.
This next question is the most condemning question, and there are perjury charges coming. Criminal perjury charges coming. We are filing in the state of Ohio. So the next question that's asked by Justin, his lawyer, who has no idea what has already happened, says, have you ever used your gun to threaten Jeremy Hales? No. The judge at this point is going, my lawyer is looking at me going, and he leans over, he goes, I've never been so mad in my life. We are filing perjury criminal charges right after this. This is happening. And I went, please. I was like, hey, don't let that anger go away. I want you to use that in cross-examination. I was like, you've been on fire. Let's keep it. Let's keep it going. He completely and totally lies. He's already been found guilty of this, and Justin knows none of this at all.
So then at this point, LIEnette is saying something, and the judge mutes her. The judge had to mute her because she was talking. And then she told her that
normal court stuff.
She told her she was going to stay muted.
She wasn't going to mute her until she was called for a witness.
There's no reason for her mic to be unmuted.
Yeah, we really haven't touched base on a lot of what LIEnette was doing during all of these witness testimonies. But at this point, the judge was tired of it, the mumbling, the stuff, the garbage being uttered, and she went, you're muted, and you're not being unmuted until you're called as a witness. Done deal. Yeah. It's over for you. So she gets reprimanded, and she's muted.
So then Justin brings up video of employees or Jeremy filming as they drive past the property.
To be clear, we use a redundancy system for safety. Now, I've built a lot of high ropes courses. I've worked on a lot of high elements, and you always use redundancy. If one rope fails, you have a second rope to save yourself. And we do this as well when we are driving for our safety. So if George and I are together, there's not one camera filming, there's two. And this actually comes up in the transcripts. This is actually discussed when I'm on the stand. And sometimes we have a lot of work to do over at the ranch because we still have multiple properties. So not only may one vehicle go, there may be multiple vehicles go, and everybody films. Redundancy for our own protection. If one camera fails, there's another one picking it up. And so Justin wants to bring this up to Crook because he brought it up while I was on the stand saying, whose vehicle is that? Oh, that's mine. Whose vehicle is that? Oh, that's an employee. Whose vehicle is that? I don't know. And so he's bringing it up now. And this is a recorded video from their security cameras that FLEASA has put out. And they are being held liable for under the civil protection orders. Everything FLEASA has done, they are being held liable for. Everything. And Justin knows it. And I guarantee you, Justin told FLEASA to stop.
Because she has stopped.
She stopped.
She also announced that she wasn't going to do play-by-play announcements. She was going to wait till court was over.
After she got called out for play-by-play court announcements. So we know that our lawyer, Eli, contacted their lawyer, Justin, and said, this better stop immediately. And from there, we don't have 100% confirmation that Justin reached out to FLEASA and said, this better stop immediately. But it did. So we can tell you that it did stop, and they are being held accountable for hundreds and hundreds of third-party violations from FLEASA. And others. Yeah,
so we see a shift in behavior from the antis. And so I'm hoping, the hope and the prayer is that Justin, this is the only attorney that's actually going to get them to stop. That's what I'm hoping for. He's the only one that's actually going to knock some sense into them and they stop. Because we have seen a shift in some of the patterns.
Yes.
Not all of them,
Not
but
all,
some
but
of them.
some, yes. Not well, and I will state this as well, and Justin knows this. So Justin asked me, why haven't I taken civil protection orders out on the rest of the What the Hale's ecosystem members? And I said, well, first of all, that's privileged information between myself and my lawyer, but when this hearing is done, there are more coming. And so Justin, I don't know if he told the What the Hale's ecosystem members that with everything they've done, that there are civil protection orders coming against them in the state of Ohio as well, but I'm going to guess probably. So he is well aware of it. I'm sure they're well aware of it. There are more civil protection order hearings coming against the rest of the What the Hale's ecosystem.
So then Crook goes on to say that every time Jeremy drives by, he slows down to film on a daily basis to film. But then didn't he just say that he's only seen you twice in the past year?
2 times.
And have you ever posted those daily films on YouTube?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So unless they're violating the protective order, there's no reason to, right?
Exactly. If they don't violate it, it doesn't, I mean, frankly, it just gets deleted. I could just hold them all, but what's the point? If there's no violation, there's no point. I was safe. I don't need it.
And there's no reason. No one is setting up anybody to do anything. Everyone's responsible for their own decision, their own reaction. Oh. And so if you're filming and I'm filming for our protection as we drive by,
but you're gonna
no one's forcing them to do anything.
You're going to hear Crook. It was all a setup. It was a setup, I tell you. Oh, it's coming.
Some of the stupidest answers I've ever heard. So then he went on to talk about how he used to have a chain link fence and that Jeremy drives by to film his daughter to put on YouTube.
He specifically says, I drive by to film his daughter to put on YouTube. Again, insinuating that I am some kind of PDF file, which is, they're being sued for this. They are literally being sued for this defamation. Assassination of character.
So I would like to know.
On the record.
Where are those videos that Jeremy's putting up on YouTube?
We'd all like to know that.
And so the fact that that exhibit wasn't submitted to the court,
nothing.
The judge isn't going to take his word for it because he already lost his credibility. He's already been found guilty multiple times of violating the law. And so for him to say that Jeremy films the daughter to put on YouTube, where is that video? I guess I'll wait for someone to send us a link because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it might be waiting a while, George.
So then he went on to accuse you of saying that you've contacted the county to have their fence removed. Like, when did you do that?
I don't even know. He's contacted the county and the state, and they're trying to get my fence removed for this and this. And I'm sitting there going, what?
We're glad that the fence is up because then it covers the eyesore and we don't have to smell and get whiffs of the garbage.
Sunblock.
Yes, we don't have to look at the eyesore of their nasty property anymore. And so you guys have seen it all in whether it was body cam footage when Florida Wildlife showed up in person and all the pictures that they took when Crook lied about brandishing a firearm to an 8-year-old girl and all the pictures that they took. And when they rescued Lloyd, the 86-year-old veteran, disabled veteran, there was video footage for protection and safety. How disgusting their property was. So having that fence up has been a blessing because it covers all of that. We don't have to look at it anymore.
Apparently I've contacted even President Trump. You know, me, paint chips. We're both like this with the president to get that fence taken down. I have contacted absolutely nobody. And no evidence is presented on anything what Crook says during his testimony. Not a thing.
So then he goes on to explain how he's had 17 inches of tin to stop the filming. And then he goes on saying that you drive by with the tractor side saddle filming. What does that even mean? Side saddle filming.
I don't know. You know, there are times when we are working on the schoolhouse and we are working on the ranch property. For example, hurricane damage. Last winter, we had the tractor back and forth for hurricane damage. There was a lot of it. And I would take the tractor back and forth. We were working on the school property, cleaning it up. We were working on the ranch property. You know how many times I've driven the tractor to the schoolhouse, to the ranch house this season?
Well, I followed you the one day.
This season? Oh, so I took the tractor from the schoolhouse to the ranch house because the tractor's at the ranch right now, so that I can mow. Yes. But I haven't even been able to mow.
So I was behind you to make sure no other vehicle would...
So one time, I've driven my tractor from my one property to another property one time, which, by the way, not illegal.
No, it's not illegal. And so I was filming.
If he doesn't like it,
protection, and so were you.
He can leave. If he doesn't like me driving a tractor legally on a road, legally from a property that I own, legally to another property that I own, legally, he can leave.
But they choose not to. Isn't that weird?
Go figure.
Isn't that interesting that they're refusing to? So then he goes and talks about how he had to add 12 more feet onto the property.
It's beautiful, I tell you. This fence is just beautiful.
He's talking about the sheet metal that he had to put up on.
I think he's talking about the landscaping fabric that he put up.
Well, he said he talks about how he had to put up more 15 feet high to block the cameras.
Yeah, the landscaping fabric.
Yes.
And then he said I had to put 60 feet of it otherwhere so he couldn't see in the back beyond my fence in the property. And then he said he's got 12-foot cameras. Really?
So then he goes on to say, we're being recorded.
Hold a second. Wait. How much video footage have you seen from this 12-foot camera? How much has been online, George, from these cameras all across the street? How much? Have you seen any?
The only footage I've seen are the ones that are pointed towards the mailbox when visitors come and sign the guest book.
Okay.
But I haven't seen footage from any other.
9 cameras, 360, hyperbolic sound.
Not even footage from the birdhouse camera.
That can hear inside, because LIEnette said they can hear inside her camper. You've seen none of this. None of this has been posted online.
None of it. Weird. Why? Because it doesn't exist. This is the part where we can whisper again.
Or does it?
It doesn't. So then he goes on to say that we're being filmed 24 hours a day and we're being threatened here. Threatened how? They have 2 cameras pointing at our property. You can't miss it. Even though it's pointing down the road, it's still pointing on our property. Remember, we own 70 acres wide, and their 1.66 is across the street, like right in the middle, if you look at an aerial. 24 hours a day, and we're being threatened here. Threatened how? But he only saw you twice in a year. But they're being threatened.
Weird. And we're weaponizing. According to them, we're weaponizing civil protection orders. But they've only seen me twice in a year.
And none of the 24-hour-a-day film has ever been posted on YouTube.
Ever. Nothing. No credibility in this witness.
0. He's like, we're living here being terrorized by Jeremy Hales. Well, with a deeper voice, obviously. We're over here being terrorized by Jeremy Hales. I'm a slow talker, but he's a very slow talker.
More like a Neanderthal.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
A moron.
Yes.
Neanderthal.
But it's weird. See, what I find weird is that they're saying they're being terrorized by you 24 hours a day, being filmed by you, but they're refusing to move. And when they lose their property with bankruptcy, they still want to live there?
Go figure that one out.
How does that make any sense?
They've literally stated in the federal court that once the property goes up for auction, that they're going to buy it back from the trustee.
Why? If you're being terrorized by your neighbors, why would you want to live there?
You got me. Maybe because this is the most money they've ever made in their life. Even if somebody is committing fraud, not releasing the money.
This is true. They're actually benefiting and still getting donations from our fan base, whether it was previous fan viewers, current, whoever. They're donating to them and they're benefiting from them. They would have never been able to afford that fence had it not been people donating gift cards.
Well,
to get the
that's
fence.
Going to be repossessed as well. Everything in the past 4 years. So bankruptcy, genius there, Deuce, genius.
Yeah. A fraud on the court, being terrorized by Jeremy Hales, famous YouTuber. But let's try and buy the property when it goes up for sale and auction, because she chose to file for bankruptcy. Make that make sense. So then he goes on to ask, do you have a social media presence? And he's like, yes.
I have a Facebook.
I have a Facebook page. And then he says, have you ever reached out to anyone?
Social media personalities. And he goes, I have never contacted Leith. He's never contacted FLEASA. So I have never contacted FLEASA. Literally last night, he puts in the chat, check your email. I just got a phone call.
Yeah.
My lawyer wants to know if you're going to be witness, which, by the way, she never would show anyway. And we would have loved it. Oh, boy, would we have loved it. But he literally just messaged last night in the live chat, check your email. Never contacted her, though. Never. Even though the night before, he told her to check her email. But never contacts her. Never.
He's never reached out.
Okay.
Well, his live chats say otherwise.
Yeah.
Say otherwise.
And obviously, we have all the screenshots.
Okay. And LIEnette even said that him and FLEASA talk every day for hours. Remember, she wrote this rage post on one of her Facebook pages, how she found out him and FLEASA were secretly talking behind her back.
Ooh, I wonder if Poppy Seed knew about that. Ooh. Well, they're into a lot of weird stuff, that's for sure. Loofahs.
She does run the loofah business.
Yeah. I don't see how anybody could want anything to do with that garbage. Yeah. Oh, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Oh, boy.
So then the questioning and discussion leads into the 10-foot video where he talks about, I just got out of surgery the day before. So let me ask
why are you in the road?
If you've gotten surgery, major surgery, by the way, wouldn't you be resting with your leg up, icing it, and making sure that it doesn't get infected and just taking care of yourself?
Justin asked him what happened on the day, the 10-foot video, which the judge has already said, we are not going over this again. This is, and Eli is going, just let him incriminate himself. Just let it go. And I'm like, yeah, this is incredible. And he goes, it was the day after surgery. I was on a walker in the road with a tape measure. I'm just stuck there. And I'm listening to him yell at me. He goes, there's a ditch to my side, and he was in the road. What was I supposed to do? I just got out of major surgery. Here's an idea. Don't go in the road. How much more common sense can you make it?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there's not a ditch to the side of them. There's plenty of grass. He could have just stepped over. If he would have just stepped over on his own property
quiet
and shut his mouth, he would have been compliant with the civil protection orders. He couldn't do either.
No.
He refused. He could have refused to do either.
Now, remember, the 10 feet video has already been litigated. He's already been found guilty by saying, suck my...
So let's bring it up again.
Yeah.
Please, in front of this judge. Absolutely. Less reminder of all your contempt charges already.
Yeah.
Bad strategy on their part.
Very bad strategy. Again, had he just stayed quiet, we wouldn't have had to report it. We wouldn't have had to file report on contempt, a violation. So then he goes on to say that he wasn't going to jump over their barbed wire fence, and that he was taking measurement of the distance of their property line. Why couldn't LIEnette do that on her own? Why did she need him on the road to do it? She was there the whole time recording him saying, you're okay, encouraging to violate the civil stalking protective order.
Insane. Crook tells the court under his lawyer's questioning that Jeremy instigated it all for YouTube content. That's funny because I didn't release any of it until cops are called, we're going into court. I don't release it until I have to. It's my insurance policy of them breaking the law. And let's be extremely clear. For them to say that Jeremy is doing all of this for YouTube money, nobody tries to get somebody to stop breaking the law if they're profiting from it and making so much money. I've spent just under $500,000 to get them to stop. If I was truly making all this money that they keep talking about, if I was truly profiting from all of this and I was doing it for content, I wouldn't want it to stop. Good business is keep the money flowing. And yet the money is going over $498,000 so far to get it to stop. And he's saying that I'm doing this. I instigated it. YouTube content.
Now remember, he also testified he'd only seen you twice in 1 year.
That's true. And he says, I don't want anything to do with Jeremy, period. Okay. All right. Well, at this point, Justin is done. I mean, he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And to even be talking about this 10-foot thing is the stupidest strategy in the world. Eli comes up for cross-examination, and Eli destroys Crook. Destroys him. Why don't you take this over?
So then Eli goes, Mr. Crook, this is Eli. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. He goes, I've asked you questions in the past, correct?
We've been here a few times, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they've been found guilty in the court. The Ohio court has found them guilty based on the evidence that we have brought. And he goes, now, isn't it true that you've threatened Jeremy with a gun? During the first hearing, we pulled up an exhibit where you pulled a gun from your pocket.
Whoopsies!
He had to remind him, during the first instance of us coming to court, you removed a firearm from your pocket.
Justin didn't know any of this?
Why would he know any of this?
Ooh. And he goes, I never pointed a gun at anybody. And besides, Levy County Sheriff said he doctored the videos. How do you doctor a video?
By slowing down the video?
I slow-mo the video? That's not doctoring a video. He did it. It happened. 100%. He lies under oath with his lawyer. He's cross-examined, and he goes, I never pointed it at anybody, and the Levy County Sheriff said he doctored it.
And then, and then John also says, I did have a firearm, but I pointed it to the ground. I pointed it to the ground. Why would he need to pull a firearm out of his pocket to point to the ground?
So Eli,
is that brandishing? Pretty sure that's brandishing.
Eli is upset now. Eli can't stand this lying thing. And Eli's going after him. You made eye contact with him, didn't you? You pulled out a firearm and you pointed it at Mr. Hales, didn't you? And he goes, I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. And the judge, and then this argument starts because Eli can't handle all this lying under oath. And Crook is just spinning out of control, trying to come up with another lie to save himself. And the judge goes, hold on! Hold on! By the way, it's too loud at home, you adjust your volume. We can't adjust the volume here. I'm giving you the play-by-play what really happened. The judge is yelling, hold on. And then the judge yells, hold on. And he goes, she goes, there will be no talking at the same time. And she goes, Crook, I'm calling him Crook. She used Mr. Crook, you will wait to answer the question asked.
She says you answer yes or no after he stops talking, meaning the attorney.
Eli.
But before the judge got in with her frustrations, reminding everyone that you can't talk at the same time. Again, it's important that people don't talk over each other at the same time because the court reporter has a job to do.
It's very heated. Very heated.
Her job is to put everything on the record and to be able to break it down who says what. And so that's why it's important not to get into heated arguments or to talk over each other. But he also he goes, yes, I did brandish it, but it was in my hand on my property.
And it's legal in Florida. He goes on and on. It's legal. I can do it. I can do whatever I want.
He justified it.
He lies under oath to his own lawyer. And now he's looking at perjury, criminal charges. And then Eli doesn't let up. Eli says, yeah, and the last time we were here in contempt court, you were in jail for brandishing a firearm at somebody else, weren't you? And he goes, I was framed by your client! I was framed!
Well, first he says, yes, but I was framed by your client. Again, how do you frame somebody? No one forced him to pull out a pew-pew. And he just said that he can brandish it on his property. So again, how did anyone frame anybody, especially him?
He pulls a firearm out on a man, a woman, and an 8-year-old child. And then he goes on to say, your client said, meaning me, said that they called it in for content. At no point ever have we ever said such a thing. No. He is a horrible, despicable human being. He is a pathological liar. And never have we ever said anything, and nor would we ever want anybody to pull out a firearm on anybody for any reason. An 8-year-old little girl who lives in fear now because of this freak.
How gross is that? Why would we demand that from anybody? That is a false statement and totally and very wrong and not true.
And he's looking at criminal charges for saying all of this under oath. We are filing in Ohio. It's happening tomorrow.
Now, before Crook brandished his firearm on Jeremy, prior to that, LIEnette called 911 because John brandished his firearm on another guy that lived in Otter Creek across the street by the name of Chad. And then LIEnette tried to say that they swung at each other and blah, 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 and that John pulled out his pew-pew. They both had to sign a waiver, otherwise they both would have been arrested.
So they both signed waivers, Crook and Chad, that they wouldn't press charges, so neither of them got arrested.
Yes. And this was all public record. We found this out from public record. And we also found this out from messages that LIEnette sent Therese. That Crook pulled out his pew-pew on Chad. Chad no longer
Madam Mayor.
lives there.
Teresa's Madam Mayor.
Yes. So then the discussion goes on to the OCC sign that he has planted facing the road.
They put up this despicable wooden fence. Crook uses the exact same material that the Jeremy Hale's as a child artist signs is made on. Exact same material. Same colors, puts OCC, Otter Creek Coward, which he has already been found guilty of making a Facebook page, Jeremy Hale's Otter Creek Coward. And so he tries to state that OCC is Orange County Choppers and that he and Harley go there to work on her bike as they play. You know how many times I've seen him and Harley there on that sewage mound, the highest point of the property, where he put a sign that points out at the road to make sure I saw it. He didn't put it to where he knew Harley would see it. He put it where he knew I would see it, at the highest point of the property over the fence. Yeah, that didn't fly very well in court.
Nope. And why would he say OCC hide the child? Why is he hiding the child from Orange County Choppers?
I thought that's where they go and play to repair the bike. OCC, hide the child? No. He's in court testifying. OCC, that's where we repair her bike. It's all for her. It's playtime. Oh, okay. Yeah, that went over well with the judge.
So Eli wasn't even done with his question. Crook knew exactly where the OCC sign, where he was going with the question, and he just blurted out Orange County Choppers. The judge had to come in and referee again and had to remind Crook, wait to answer the question. If you know where the question is going, wait till he asks the question and then answer. Again, this is important because they can't talk over each other. The court reporter has to type it all out so that it's on the record.
And then we get transcripts and we prove to you that FLEASA is a liar, Deuce is a liar, LIEnette is a liar, Crook's a liar. I mean, you already know all these freaks and fools and felons are liars. And so the whole record, it's being ordered tomorrow. Now, that being said, we are filming 4 videos in one day. So in one video, I say tomorrow, and the next video, which was released the day after, says tomorrow. Well, we are filming 4 in one. Tomorrow, it all will be ordered. Yes.
So then the conversation and questionings go into the Facebook page, the harassing Facebook page that Crook himself created on Facebook.
Otter Creek Coward,
and
Jeremy
named
Hale's
it
Otter
Jeremy
Creek.
Hale's OCC. And
Otter
he goes,
Creek
no, it wasn't called it wasn't called OCC. It was called, I created the Facebook group called Jeremy Hale's Coward of Levy County.
Dumb much in court? Could you imagine
Eli
being their...
set him up for that.
Can you imagine being their lawyer at this point in time going, Justin, just... At this point, I'm not joking. Justin was completely and totally giving up. And you're going to see it as we continue to tell what actually happened, because he went, listen, I got no more questions. It's over. He knew it was over. He knew it was done. He was set up for failure from the very beginning by FLEASA.
Justin was, yeah.
Justin
so
was.
again, remind me.
He gave up. He gave up.
With Crook creating this harassing Facebook page targeted at Jeremy, calling him the Coward of Levy County. Not OCC, the Coward of Levy County. That was one of the many reasons how we were able to get the civil stalking protective order against him. How is that fraudulent and wrongfully ordered by the courts? It's called cyber stalking, cyber harassing.
At this point, Eli reminds Crook, you understand that you're under oath right now. And if you lie, you're facing criminal charges. And Crook goes, yes. Yes. Duh. Eli, when he comes back, he goes, I'm filing criminal charges, perjury, tomorrow. He was so hot. He couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand the lying, the constant lying. And so he puts it on the record. You understand you're getting criminal charges for lying? He goes, yes. And then we're not to the point where Eli comes back and tells me that we're filing criminal charges, perjury. But Eli's setting him up for it under oath that, yeah, I lied and I'm going to have criminal charges.
Remember, Crook testified and admitted to creating this harassment Facebook group specifically targeting towards Jeremy, but said, I did create it, but I gave it to my buddy, as if he's supposed to get some pass, some hall pass, because he gave it to his buddy Chris Holder.
The stupid.
He testified to all of this in court. Yeah. So how is it fraudulent
it's
again?
It's always, I did it, but then I gave it to somebody else. Doesn't matter. You did it. This is the stupidity of Levy County Sheriff. They go, well, under the totality, we think Jeremy is doing this for content. Okay, that's odd because I'm not even releasing most of this stuff. And it doesn't matter. Channel 20 News in Gainesville can come out and film for content. They're putting it on the news. It's a story. They're filming illegal things. Same as I am. Same as Levy County has a Facebook page putting out illegal people out there. Be on the lookout. We just arrested this person for this and this and this. Levy County Sheriff doesn't have any problem with their own social media putting this all out, people doing illegal activity. Are they doing it for clicks, views, money? I mean, they got to have funding, right? It doesn't matter. It does not matter why they are doing it, why I am doing it. I'm doing it for safety and protection. Doesn't even matter. It could be for YouTube content. It doesn't matter. The law was broken. That's the standard. The law is the standard. If it's broken, they are to be arrested. End of story. Levy County Sheriff won't do anything.
Now remember, Levy County Sheriff also has a motto. If you see something, say something. So when we record for our safety and we see something, we're going to say something.
And they're going to do nothing. Pretty pathetic.
Now, back to the waiver of Crook having to sign a waiver and Chad having to sign a waiver, they went that route because no one filmed it. No one got it on film of who initiated what. Who instigated the situation, because no one filmed it.
No record.
So then that motivated us to film everything, because he has a history of pulling out a pew-pew on people, on innocent people, for no reason. So then the subject and the questionings go on. So yes, to confirm what you just said, Eli did say that you do realize you're under oath and you're subject to criminal charges if you're found lying.
Which we are pursuing.
Mm-hmm. So then he goes on to say, June 19th, he drove by the house filming. And Jeremy drove by your house filming, or your property filming, and you put your hands behind and put both fingers up.
So Crook double flicked me off. He turns back to me, and then we'll pretend this is him, and he put his fingers up here.
Like right in the middle of his shoulder
Now,
blades.
McIntyre's report said, I think he was adjusting his pants. Mm-hmm. Nothing like that whatsoever. And Eli made a fool of McIntyre.
You just showed your honey buns.
Well, Crook is probably sprung right now. Spring is sprung.
Should we edit that part out?
How bad did it look? You were saying it was a snack earlier, so...
Anyways, so then he reiterates, on June 19th, Jeremy drove by your property filming, and you put your hands behind your back and you put both fingers up. So then he immediately jumps into how he just had spinal fusion and he was stretching his back.
I was stretching my back from spinal fusion. At this point, LIEnette goes, "Did I have a bathroom break?" The judge goes, we are not taking a break. But if you want to leave the camera, have at it. You've done it before.
And then she mutes her.
Yep.
She mutes her, and she gets up and goes to the bathroom and comes back. And then Eli tries to pull the exhibit up, but for whatever reason, screen share isn't working.
Yeah, they were having IT problems, and Eli goes, you know what, we've already brought this up in the previous hearing, so I'll just reference it. It's already been shown.
Yeah. In the beginning, before anything was on the record, even the judge herself was having technical issues. Yeah. She had to call the IT guy to come in and start. So that was one of the reasons why the court hearing was delayed.
And it's the video of him flicking me off, me driving by, saying nothing, doing nothing. How in the world can I be instigating this? I'm protecting myself by filming, and he's flicking me off. That is nonverbal communication, as is the sign, OCC, as it's third party giving surveillance of my whereabouts, my vehicle, to FLEASA, and they're looking at hundreds of contempt charges for that. Them on FLEASA's chat, that was all addressed in court as well. They're looking at hundreds. Things that FLEASA have said on behalf of them, they're looking at hundreds, if not thousands, of contempt charges. There's no doubt whatsoever that they are going to be found guilty. And
yes. So flipping the bird is indirect communication. It's nonverbal communication, and it was so obvious where his hand placement was. It wasn't stretching because he had spinal fusion. It's like the video, my cousin Vinny. Yeah. Everything that guy said is, if you've seen My Cousin Vinny. So then the conversation and questioning shifts to
FLEASA.
How...
Goes to FLEASA, right? That's what I have.
Well,
next.
I have where the sign was posted over the mound.
Okay.
And that's where he talks about how he works on the chopper with the child.
Eli goes, so you put a sign saying OCC facing Jeremy on the road, but it's for your child. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah. It makes zero sense. Like, wouldn't the sign be facing the mound where they fix it versus on the road, like towards the road, on the edge of a mound? Ever seen.
And we can see over the fence. We can see over the fence even with the tin and all the ridiculousness that they've done. We can still see. It's about 100 times worse than we've ever seen it before. All that fence did was isolate that child, which, by the way, LIEnette under oath says I needed to isolate my child. Under oath, but I'm getting ahead. All that did was isolate more filth, more disgustingness inside. But remember, it's so bad. They moved to Otter Creek to save this child, but they're living in filth and squalor. So then the questioning and conversation moves towards his activities with commenting on social medias and in live chats. Particularly FLEASA. Eli goes, so you're an active participant with FLEASA's videos and live streams, aren't you? He goes, well, I say hello to people. It's weird because last night he literally posted, check your messages. He emailed her. Wanting to know if she was going to testify and that she would be the first witness. Yeah. How do we know this? Because it's more than just hello in her live chats. And people are capturing screenshots of it and posting online. And then we go back and double check. Now, let me be very clear. We understand he was posting that and she was going along with it to get a rise. Crook already knows she's not going to be a witness. We know that as well. Well, why? She's too afraid to show her toothless face. It was smarter than Deuce, smarter than Tina, smarter than LIEnette, smarter than Crook. And that's saying a lot. Because she's dumb. Dumb. But wait, she wasn't under oath. She wasn't self-incriminating herself. She actually did everything she could to save herself by not being there, which is upsetting on our part, but it's coming. Her deposition for federal bankruptcy court is coming. So you go, I say hello to people. We would have loved for her to show up as a witness. Her camera would have been turned on. Everyone would have seen her pathetic face. Mandatory. And on video. She would have incriminated herself. She wouldn't have helped LIEnette and Crook's case. And she would have admitted, yeah, I posted this, and that. Remember, she was talking so much crap saying, I can't wait to go on the stand, tell the judge, and give her mountains of evidence. Yeah. Well, the flea fleed yet again. All coward talk. That's why she eats all them chicken skins, because she chicken. So, Eli brings up another a defamatory Facebook page that we are well aware of that Paint Chips created. And Crook is an admin of, okay? Mm-hmm. And so Crook just posted yesterday in that Facebook group. And Eli says, are you aware of this Facebook group? And he goes, that's not my page! I don't know how I got in there! Eli goes, interesting. Interesting, because I have here a copy of what you posted on here yesterday. You literally just posted. He goes, I told Paint Chips to take me off, and I asked for prayer. I'll take any prayers I can get anywhere. Wait, so you don't know about this page. You're not supposed to be in this page. But then when you're called out that you just posted 12 hours ago on this page, now all of a sudden you'll get prayers anywhere you can get. So Paint Chips, thanks. You incriminated him again. You're not helping anybody. You're incriminating everybody.
Well, here's another lie that came out of Crook's face hole by saying that he is an admin, but he doesn't know how he became an admin. Whenever a Facebook group page, whatever, it adds you as an admin, you have to accept it.
You accept it.
Crook had to have gone in there and physically clicked on accept to become an admin. So for him to play dumb and say he doesn't know how he became an admin and has asked Paint Chips to remove him, I call BS on that.
And Eli did too. So Eli says, okay, so you are an admin in a group with a picture of Jeremy Hale surrounded by eggplants. And your testimony is you will take prayer anywhere you can get it, huh? Okay.
And he goes, absolutely.
Yeah. Don't think so. Don't think so. And then Eli brings up Vomit. We have this entire interview. Vomit screwed them over so bad. So bad. This entire interview that they did about the CPOs, about Ohio court, and it was mandatory they not discuss this anywhere, and it's all over the internet. Mm-hmm.
But somehow that was a setup.
Eli goes, so you went on Vomit's, his little thingy, and I mean little, his mama can't even see it, little thingy, discussing the CPO, and Crook goes, yeah, I talked about it, how unfairly I'm being treated, and I'm being set up by this court. Can you imagine the judge's face?
I just snorted.
Eli goes, okay, you were set up by this court? Were you set up at town hall? He goes, I arrived there 3 hours early! Okay. Eli goes, so you were set up? He goes, George was never even there! It was their employees filming! She never was there!
But mind you, these are the same people who have called Levy County Sheriff on me every time my vehicle drove past their property filming. They know exactly what my car looks like, and they've never seen me driving or outside of the vehicle.
Directly at her. Looks directly at her. Mm-hmm. Looks multiple times.
They see me driving. They see D next to me.
They're talking to the sheriff deputies about her being there. Mm-hmm. She was never there. Remember, she was never there. Even though they've already been found in contempt of court for this. And at this point, Eli goes, nothing further. And then the judge looks at Justin and goes, anything else, counselor? And he goes, nothing further. He has given up. And LIEnette hasn't even taken the stand yet. And it only gets better for us!